I want to talk to you about a very important piece of legislation, House Bill 166, Education Savings Accounts. Education savings accounts have become very popular across the country. And the reason for that is there is nothing that really empowers parents more to get involved in their child's education and to find the solution that best fits their family and their child than an education savings account. Now, we know that education is important. For years, people have attributed to Thomas Jefferson the statement, "An educated citizenry is a vital requisite for our survival as a free people." We now know that he never made that statement. And yet, you can see why people thought that he's the one that made the statement, because it is so self-evidently true. It makes a lot of sense. It rings with his voice. But the question for us then is, why is it true? It's because we all know that a nation that cannot remember its origins will begin to suffer from a cultural amnesia. As a result, they will wander, kind of lost and bewildered, into eventual oblivion. And any student of history has seen this happen over and over and over again. No nation can ever escape the reality of such a situation. We know that every child needs to have an understanding of math and English, science, history, and all of the other skills that will help them to live a life that strives for what we know from antiquity, the good, the true, and the beautiful. Let me define that really quick. The good is the things that fulfill purpose. Everything that we desire to have that is helpful for the furthering of a society. The true, those are the things that define reality. In our world today, we see a lot of people contending that there is no actual reality, that there are no self-evident truths. But really, any society that's going to last for any length of time needs to have an honest understanding of what truth looks like. And then the beautiful. The beautiful are those things that strive for the highest level of achievement. It's people living out their highest and best opportunities in life. And so when we talk about the purpose of education, education can do tremendous good for so many people. But Americans have known since the very beginning that competition is something that drives excellence. To build the very best kind of schools, to build the very best kind of business, we know that competition causes everyone to strive for what is best. That's the reason why in Wyoming, we're supporting education savings accounts. We know that we want good education across the board, whether it's public or private or home or whatever it is. We do want the very best opportunities for every child to thrive. But that is best served by people who have the opportunity to go into the education marketplace and find the solution that best fits their needs. Wyoming currently ranks number 10 in spending per pupil in overall dollars. After considering that many of the states that are ahead of us are actually high cost of living states in New England, it's easy to see that Wyoming actually, when adjusted for cost of living, ranks near the very top in what we spend on our education system. But sadly, what that means, according to the statistics, is that we are in the top 10 in spending, but the bottom 10 in education freedom. For multiple years, nearing a decade now, many in Wyoming have fought for the rights of parents to educate their child in the way that they see fit. This legislation, this education savings account that is shown in House Bill 166, is the closest we have ever come. We've come through the entire House of Representatives, is now in the Senate, is made it through the Senate Education Committee, and will be heard on March the 4th in the Senate Committee of the Whole. This is important. And so when we look at just the great desire and everything else that's involved, we desperately need you to reach out to your senator, to reach out to your representative, to let them know where you feel this legislation could go. Because there are a couple of factors that could easily bring it down. Many have voted for it, even though there is a massive concern about a new thing that has been added in. It's not contemplated in any other education savings account. And it's something called pre-K education. It's something outside the designs of a classic education savings account, because even now in the state of Wyoming, it's not part of the classic K through 12 education system. And so that has caused a lot of concern. but it has been shortened down quite a bit from where it started. It's now for 4-year-olds only. It applies to students that are going into a education savings account kind of school. So it would benefit essentially those who are getting ready to go into essentially private schools. And so there are a lot of issues to navigate through this. The question is, what is the next step for the state of Wyoming? Do we come back next year? Do we stay this year and work on the issue and maybe see what we can come to if there is some sort of in-between position? This is so important that we need you to reach out to your representatives in the House and Senate and just let them know where you stand on this issue. We greatly desire to see education freedom flourish in Wyoming. And so with that being said, we're asking for your prayer, for your support, and for your participation as you help see this important legislation go through. Thanks again for joining us and taking a look at House Bill 166.